never thought I'd say this out loud. But when my son and his wife announced they were expecting their 5th child, my heart didn't leap with joy like it used to. Instead, a heavy weight pressed down on my chest, and all I could think was, not again. I can't do this anymore. I know that sounds cruel. I know people will judge me for saying such a thing about my own family. But before you decide, let me tell you everything. Let me tell you how I went from being the happiest grandmother to someone who feels trapped, exhausted, and betrayed by the very people I love the most. When my son Daniel married Alina, I was overjoyed. She was young, sweet, and had this sparkle in her eyes that made me believe she'd be the perfect partner for him. I thought I'd finally see my son settled, happy, and ready to build the kind of family I always dreamed of. Their first child, Noah, was a blessing. I'll never forget the day I held him in my arms. My heart melted. I promised myself then and there that I'd always be there for him, no matter what. But slowly, that promise turned into something else. Something much heavier. After Noah came Emma. Then Liam. Then Sophie. Each time, the same story repeated itself. My son and Alina would look at me with pleading eyes, reminding me that childcare was expensive, that they both had to work, that they were young and struggling. And each time, I opened my arms, and my entire life, to take care of their children. At first, I didn't mind. I loved those babies. But what no one tells you is that being a full-time caregiver, even for your grandchildren, comes at a cost. I gave up my part-time job. My own friends stopped calling because I was always too busy. My small home became cluttered with toys, bottles, diapers. I cooked, cleaned, bathed, and comforted kids day and night while my son and Alina seemed to live. They went on weekend trips, posted smiling pictures on social media, bought new gadgets, new clothes. And me? I was at home, wiping noses, folding tiny socks, and sacrificing the years I thought I'd spend in peace. I told myself, it's okay. This is just until they're more stable. But stability never came. Last Sunday they came over. I had just put Sophie, their youngest, down for her nap. I was exhausted. My back ached. My hands shook from carrying laundry baskets. And I was desperate for a moment of silence. Daniel sat on the couch, holding Alina's hand. She looked nervous but excited. And then she said the words that made the room spin. Mom, we're pregnant again. I forced a smile. My lips trembled as I whispered, congratulations. But inside I felt like screaming. My heart pounded. My mind raced with all the sleepless nights, the endless babysitting, the years of my life slipping away. Then Daniel leaned closer and said the words that broke me. We'll need you more than ever, Mom. 5 kids is a lot, and we couldn't do it without you. I wanted to cry. I wanted to shout. I wanted to ask them, when is it enough? When do I get to live my life? Instead, I stayed quiet. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling until dawn, replaying everything in my head. The truth hit me like a storm. I wasn't just a grandmother. I was their crutch, their free nanny, their solution to every problem. And the worst part? They never even asked if I wanted this life. They assumed. They took. And I'll let them. 2 days later, I invited them over for dinner. My hands shook as I stirred the soup, knowing what I was about to say could change everything. We sat at the table. The kids ran around giggling, spilling juice. Daniel laughed at something on his phone. Alina hummed as she cut Sophie's food. And me? I cleared my throat and said, we need to talk. They both looked up, surprised. I took a deep breath. I love my grandchildren more than anything in this world. But I can't keep raising them for you. I can't be the one holding everything together, while you both live your lives. I've sacrificed years, and now with another baby on the way, I just can't. Silence. Heavy. Unbearable. Daniel's smile vanished. Alina's eyes widened. Finally, Daniel said, what are you talking about? You've always helped. You love the kids. Why are you saying this now? I swallowed hard. Because I'm tired. Because this isn't fair. Because I'm not their mother. You are. Alina's face turned pale. Daniel frowned. So what? You're just going to abandon us? Abandon your grandkids? The word stabbed me. Abandon. After everything I'd given up, after everything I'd done. That's what he thought of me? And then came the twist I never expected. Alina slammed her fork down and snapped. We didn't even want this baby. Daniel said you'd help us, that you'd never say no. That's the only reason I agreed. My chest tightened. My own son had promised my life to someone else, without even asking me. I looked at him, my eyes burning. Is that true? Daniel looked away. Guilty. Silent. In that moment, something inside me broke. The son I raised, the boy I gave everything to, had turned me into nothing more than a tool. A babysitter. A backup plan. I stood up, my hands trembling. I can't do this anymore. I won't. I love you. I love my grandchildren. But I refuse to lose myself completely. This ends now. The room erupted. Daniel accused me of being selfish. Alina cried, saying she couldn't handle 5 kids on her own. But for once I didn't bend. For once I chose myself. Days passed. The phone calls came, angry, desperate, guilt-tripping. I didn't answer. Then the messages. The kids miss you. You're breaking this family apart. What kind of mother abandons her own son? Each word cut deep, but I stood firm. And then silence. Weeks went by. I didn't see them. Didn't hear from them. I cried at night, missing the laughter of the children, their little arms around my neck. But I also felt free. For the first time in years, I woke up without dread. I started walking in the mornings. I reconnected with old friends. I began painting again, something I hadn't done in decades. I was living. And then one evening, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find Noah, my eldest grandson, standing there with tears in his eyes. He whispered, "Grandma, Mommy and Daddy fight all the time now. They say it's because you left us. Did you stop loving us?" My heart shattered. I knelt down, holding his tiny hands. "Oh, sweetheart. I will never stop loving you. This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault." Behind him, Daniel stood looking older, broken. His voice cracked as he said, "Mom, I'm sorry. That night, we talked. Really talked. For the first time in years, my son listened. I told him everything. The sacrifices, the exhaustion, the betrayal I felt. He cried. Alina cried. And maybe, just maybe they understood. It won't be easy. Boundaries will have to be built. They'll have to learn to be parents, not just people who hand their responsibilities to me. But I've learned something too. Love doesn't mean destroying yourself for others. Sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes love means teaching others to stand on their own. And so, when my son and his wife announced that 5th pregnancy, I thought it was the end of me. But maybe, just maybe, it was the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where I finally get to live. If you're listening to this, remember, sometimes the hardest thing you'll ever do is say no to the people you love most. But your life matters too. Don't lose yourself in the name of love.